Welcome back to our new episode of the series of Procast, helping the beginner athletes to become elite ones. Today, I'm here with Horatiu Nae, who was a swimmer from the age of 3 until age of 17, when he decided to stop swimming for a better focus on his studies. That's why I decided to invite him here because he got a lot of experience in the world of swimming, and our viewers and our audience can learn a lot of things out of that. The today's topic will be example programming, and more or less is like how the beginner athletes can create a schedule for themselves and become better in swimming. Are different steps. Probably it's a little bit difficult this let's say topic, but that's why Horatiu is here to make it clear for us and to learn as much as possible. Yeah, thank you very much for being here, Horatiu. Can you?
Hi Vlad, thank you for inviting me here. It's a pleasure. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, everything is going all right. I am glad that we can, sit and have a talk regarding this topic because I think, in my opinion, it's very important for the beginner athletes to have kind of like a support, throughout those podcasts that we are trying to have here. As I, told you last days about our idea and our project, and yeah, you was happy from the beginning when I sent you the invitation. So
Yeah, Vlad, as we talked last week about how expensive it is now to practice sport. Like for an athlete that wants to practice a sport at a certain level, like to level up or going for the performance, is very expensive because the costs are a little bit high. Everyone thinks that swimming is cheap sport, but actually it's not like that because you have to buy yourself a lot of
you have to invest a lot of money in that.
yeah, you have to invest a lot of money for the equipment, for supplies, nutrition supplies, and
Yeah,
you
also
have
the
to prepare.
tracksuits are
Yeah.
expensive at that time. So
So first thing you have to do is to prepare yourself. Like this is the first step that you have to have in mind, the
yeah,
cost.
as a beginner.
As a beginner, yeah.
Yeah, because also in that, let's say, phase where you are a beginner and you just started swimming, it's not more than the swimsuit. It doesn't need to be a brand one, or can be the cheapest swimsuit that you can get from a market, like $20 or something like this. Then you can get the goggles, a cap for like 20 other bucks, and you can go just start swimming, understand what is this sport, and of course coming with the progression in your career. And when you arrive at a certain point, of course you need to invest more money, but let's start with the beginners, and I
Yeah.
already prepared a set of questions, and I would like to ask you some things, and in this way the viewers and the audience can learn more things out of it. Okay, so coming to the questions, what kind of training plan program did you follow to achieve a peak performance in swimming?
First of all, for beginner swimmers that want to start a career in swimming or just to see how it goes, like either you like it or don't, just go with the flow, For beginner swimmers, they have to start with development training program to start focusing on the technique and to know actually how to breathe, how to act in the water because it's a different um, place,
Environment.
yeah,
Yeah.
environment. So for me, when I was at my top level, I used to train after a very strict training because when I was at my top level, I was following a very strict program, so stroke development program that was divided in some cycles. First, you have the endurance and strength cycle that is always in the beginning. Then you have the technique cycle when you improve your skills like breathing, endurance too, as I mentioned. And the third phase is that where the swimmer increase the sprints and work on a short distance if they have
Or
the
swimming, yeah,
stroke.
a short distance.
Yeah, it depends on the stroke that they are
Swimming,
competing
yeah.
with. Yeah, and for long distance competitions, like if you have like 800 meters, you have to keep the endurance up and focus on that race because it's very important.
Yeah, of course. In this cycle, it's every time important to have everything split very well from the beginning to know exactly what you have to do. And that's why when you reach a good performance in swimming, of course, you have like an experienced coach who is guiding you in this process. And every time, also in my opinion, I think it's very good just to listen to your coach, do all the phases, and of course trying to understand these phases, because it's more than going to the swimming pool, jumping into the water and start to swim what the coach is saying. It's very important to understand why we are doing this, and only like this actually you can reach the great performance, when you start to understand what you are doing and to improve your times and fix your mistakes.
After you are gonna start swimming and going to trainings as a beginner, you will understand that swimming is a mind sport, and you
Yeah, that's
always
true.
have to work on your thoughts. Your mind
Definitely.
have to, yeah, your mind have to be always positive and always think that you are going to the top, no matter how hard it is to train.
Yeah, that's true. Going to the second question, how did you determine your ideal training intensity and duration? Like how you see, in your opinion, let's say the best and the perfect training schedule, how you can determine the intensity and duration of that.
As a beginner swimmer, you only need 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half, if you want to be like Michael Phelps or Cristiano Ronaldo, let's say. But I think 1 hour it's just perfect for you because you just have to get used with the water, with the feelings, with your endurance. As I said, that is very important to work on that. And for performance swimmers, like if you want to go to the top at that level, I
The
think for a
intensity is increasing, yeah.
yeah, is increasing. The volume of the training is increasing too. For example, when I was training, I was swimming like 10 kilometers a day. So at that point, 2 hours maybe it's it's the best
Hmm.
for you to be on the top level.
Okay, I got it. It's very good that we are, doing the difference between the beginner athletes and the elite ones, the ones that are already, performing in swimming for some years, because those, let's say, topics where you talk about the intensity and duration, of course, for the beginner will be much less than the one that is already swimming for years. The third question is, what role did strength and conditioning play in your training program as a beginner? So basically coming to the from the intensity and duration, now we are talking about the strength and the actual conditioning of the beginner swimmer.
Yeah, for a beginner swimmer, it's very important at the start to work on your strength because it will be much easier for you to understand the process that you are going through right now because you are making a change. You want to start practicing swimming. So you will understand that to work on your strength, like going to the gym, maybe like just to run or do some push-ups.
Yeah, nothing
It
special, of course. For a beginner, is not
Yeah, for a
necessary more
beginner.
than that. Very nice answers. And can you tell us what the types of drills and exercises are important to incorporate into a training program for beginners? Let's say if you have like specific drills or other types of exercise that the beginners can do in order to improve their technique or their performance in general in swimming.
And from my point of view, for a beginner swimmer, it's very important to work on every stroke. Specific drills like freestyle drills, freestyle.
Yeah, and backstroke as well, of course, being the two main, swimming strokes in the beginning, because now we are
Yeah,
talking about the beginners. So
and after you can develop a new training program, but you have to start with freestyle drill, and backstroke drills.
Yeah, are very important actually. I noticed that also as a swimmer. When I was in my beginnings, I was always doing into the trainings every day almost specific drills for those two strokes that you already mentioned, because being the main ones, from here it's starting everything in swimming, from starting learning freestyle, and after that backstroke, and doing drills, specific drills for those swimming strokes, of course, are helping you in improving your technique and making you swimming easily. So yeah, can you explain the concept of the periodization and how beginners can use it in their program?
This concept means that the swimmer already started a training program that is followed by a cycle. This cycle includes the endurance, the strength, the technique, and not the last one, the sprints, the high tempo cycle that is before your competition. After they follow those steps, the beginner swimmers, they have to focus on stroke development plan after they know how to swim all strokes, and after that they can improve only one stroke at a certain level, like freestyle or butterfly, backstroke, or breast. For beginner swimmers, all they have to do is swim as much as they can without injuring themselves. Like don't harm yourself. Be calm, be patient. Everything is gonna pay off. With your coach and his advice, you will manage to success.
Yeah, as you mentioned before, that's true. What they have to do in the beginning is just to swim as much as they can. Of course, if you have a coach and you are not doing this alone, your process will be much easier and you're gonna learn faster how to swim all the strokes and to have a better performance in swimming actually. Of course, the concept of the periodization, it's an aspect that, it's more focused on performance swimming, where the swimmers are trying to become better and better and are going to the competitions, the swim meets. And yeah, I think the beginners can just go to the first, just go to the swimming pool, and there uh, they can they can swim as much as they want and they can, of course. How should beginners balance endurance and sprint training in their program? Like how you see this balance between those two? Because when you are thinking to the endurance, you are thinking to the part where the swimmer is going into the pool and swimming as much as he can, and throughout those specific trainings, he's increasing his capacity and he can swim bigger distances. But when you are thinking to the sprints, you're just thinking to the swimmers very close to a competition that are going to the pool to swim as fast as possible and to get the best times. So how you see this balance into a program, thinking to a beginner? As I said, the beginners swimmers are another category, and that is why we met today to discuss about this category. So how you see it for the beginners?
For a beginner swimmer, it's not important to go through those two phases. All they have to do is work on their technique and their endurance, and after that, in time, the sprints are gonna follow them every time.
Yeah,
And so just technique and endurance first, and then you're gonna see the results.
yeah. The endurance is actually very important because in the beginning, the beginners are not having as much experience and are not having a very good technique, and when you don't have a good technique in swimming, it's very hard for you to stay into the water an hour and to train at your full capacity. That's why it's very good to combine how you just said it, the endurance with the technique, because endurance is the part where you are training as good as possible in order to get stamina and the phase where you're just training your technique is where you're increasing your time and you're increasing your capacity of the arm strokes, for example. When you know how to place them into the water, everything is going smooth, and yeah, of course you are swimming easily, and swimming easily means that you are uh, using less stamina. So
I
yeah, exactly how
I
you said.
think I think the best thing that beginner swimmer can do is actually to know how to breathe underwater.
Yeah, also
Uh,
breathing is also part of the endurance. If you think about, when you are swimming many kilometers, you start to get, for example, the freestyle breathing on 3 arm strokes. So that is already, increasing your lungs capacity. So yeah. How should beginners modify their training program as they progress in their career? Like how you see, uh, the step that the beginner is taking in front after he got used with swimming, and he's going for not for the big performance, but to start to come to the pool regularly, to make part of a team, and to start actually to swim.
is a very different environment. Mm, For me, I remember when I started to actually um, go for the top, like start the performance training. It was very different, and you have new friends there. Is coach that you need to listen every time what he say, what he think about your performance on that training. Even if it's hard in the beginning, it will be very hard for you. You will get the tough moments. You will forget the tough moments, and you have to train no matter what. But at the same time, feel good, have fun, and always think that you can do better, even if it's very hard.
Yeah, yeah, this is what I was discussing also with the kids at the swimming club. It's very important to be at least with 5% better than the previous day. When you're coming to the pool, of course, that coming from the beginners where you have a coach and he's focusing on you, and after that making the big step going to a team where the coach cannot focus only on you because it's a team, so are probably like 10 other swimmers. You need to be um, focus on what you have to do, even though the coach cannot see you, because taking paying attention to 10 different people in the same time, probably it's a little bit hard, for him. And that's why you need to be very focused on what you have to do, and to be at least with 5% better than the previous day, in order to dropping more seconds and to have a better performance, of course. Are there any specific training techniques or methods that are particularly effective for a beginner swimmer? Like if you see some specific techniques in swimming that the beginners needs to practice it in their trainings.
No, not really. As I said, after you get the technique of the freestyle and backstroke using the drill plan, in time, you or your coach will choose a stroke that you are preferring. You are liking. My best stroke was butterfly, so my training for were different from backstroke or freestyle, even breast. So the best training technique for the beginner swimmers are the drills because um, the first stroke that you are going to learn is freestyle maybe, so you have to do a lot of uh, freestyle drills. You will learn how to have a better technique than the backstroke drill. So drills are important at that point.
Yeah, actually, you're right, because the drills actually are very, very important for a beginner. As I said before, having a good technique is giving you the opportunity not to get tired so much into the water, because in the beginning you're gonna get tired very, very fast because your stamina is not the best, and plus that it's another environment. It's a sport in the water, so the body is moving different there. As you said, drills are, yeah, very important, and the beginner should have as many drills as possible in the beginning for freestyle. Then maybe they'll go to the next step on the backstroke, and only like this you can actually improve your technique in swimming. Are there any technological or data tracking tools that can be useful for beginners to inform their training decisions, like smartwatches or things like that?
I wasn't used with those devices. I don't think it's important for a beginner swimmer to focus on watch or the headphones that are now trending. I saw that a lot of Olympics are used to train with those gadgets, but for beginner swimmers, it's not important to get used with those devices because they have to focus on coming to the pool, um, train, and get their endurance at the top level, not focusing on not breaking the gadget or the headphones. It's not important to have those gadgets at that level. When you go at the top level, a performance level, yeah, I think it's all right to have some headphones because your coach can help you when you are swimming, when you are actually swimming. He can tell you like how to improve your technique or telling you the time, maybe. But for a beginner swimmer, no. Just
Yeah,
come to the pool, train, forget about the watches, forget about those things.
yeah, I think you're right, because this is also my opinion. In the beginning, it's very important actually to go just to the swimming pool and to train as much as possible, not to be focused on having, I don't know, what kind of band around your chest, or how you said, watches, because those are the devices that are helping the performance swimmers. So first you need to get to that point, and then of course you can use them as well. How can beginners manage recovery and injury prevention in their program?
Recovery is a very important factor that a sportsman, swimmer should take in mind because they have to sleep 8 hours a night, and actually they can even take some sports supplements like calcium or magnesium. Those are some supplements that are helping your muscles and your bones to prevent the injuries that you were talking about. Those two, recovery and injury preventions, are two essential things because they are representing your base in this sport.
As you mentioned, recovery is very important for the beginner swimmers to sleep at least 8 hours a night, because when you are in the beginning, as we mentioned before, um, you are using a lot of energy going to the pool and training, because you are not used with the environment and the sport as well. So sleeping is an essential part of the recovery process that every beginner swimmer needs to take in account. And of course, how you said about the sport supplementation, in order to prevent the injuries that can appear, are more than welcome in any in any life, actually, not only for the sportsmen or for the swimmers. Everybody needs to um, get, how you said, the magnesium and the calcium that are helping your bones and muscles to become stronger, and actually to help you into this process.
You will get exhausted and you have to work on your meals, your food. It has to get healthier and healthier, but actually to eat like protein and um, pasta, maybe beef,
Yeah, things that are helping your body to um,
to
resist
recover. Why
better.
not?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
recover and to resist better into the training, of course. Are there any specific mental trainings or techniques that beginners should use in their programs?
Firstly, for a beginner swimmer, it's important to note all your training, even if you are at the beginning. Note your trainings because in time you will manage to actually see your progress. And even as a pro, you have to note all your times and your trainings. Why not? If you have time, note your trainings too. Not only the times that you want to break, like always note down your the times that you want to achieve, like to break your personal record. Noting down all your times and things you do at the training session is helping your mental health because you can see the progress that you are doing, and with those factors the dopamine is increased, so you will get more and more and more enthusiastic after seeing that you get to you get the progress every after every session or every competition. So note it. Note the training is my advice.
Yeah, I think you're right because when you're thinking to the swimmers that just come to the pool and are in their first weeks, for example, learning how to swim actually, at some point it can appear some, hard moments when they are not feeling motivated to do it anymore, or they are finding this as a hard sport and they don't want to continue it. So when you have something noted down, like for example, first training, I managed to, I don't know, to swim at least 5 meters, right?
Yeah,
Going to the next week or in 2 weeks, having on the paper the progress from that point to a point that you can swim easily 100 meter is giving you the opportunity to think about your progress, and of course to be more motivated and to actually see that you can do it better than what you are doing right now. So because every time it's a specific place where you can find a better and better performance. Yeah, I think how you said, noting down the things that you're doing in the training is very, very important, especially for the beginners, in order to help their mental training. What challenges or setbacks are common for beginners in their training program, and how they can overcome them?
of course they will have some hard times, like not feeling going for the session or even at the session they will be tired. Oh, I can do it. I cannot do it. I'm done with this. Think it's the other way. Think positive. Think about your goals and always try to be focused on what you want to achieve.
Yeah, that's right. It's exactly how we mentioned some questions ago regarding the notes. If you gonna note your goals, you know exactly why are you coming to the swimming pool and why are you training, and you are, you know, when there are coming the moments when you feel that you cannot do it anymore and you see it as a challenge, hard moments, you can look at that paper and you can see what goals do you have and what you want to achieve, and like this, just overcome the problems and the challenges that may appear.
Yeah, you can write your thoughts too if you think that help. Wrote what you think about the training that you had, how your body feels, how you feel about the training. Maybe it will help at one point.
How can beginners incorporate team training and team dynamics into their program?
As I said, it's a very different environment. Even if you are a beginner, are going to a club maybe when you have teammates. So you can see what level are you at that point, and you have your teammates that can help you improve, and you can help them improve their technique, their times. So for a beginner swimmer, it's important to have those experience being part of team.
Yeah. So, coming to the last question of this interview, what is the specific general advice that you can give to the beginner swimmers that are watching this podcast? What you see as perfect advice for them and what they can follow in order to become an elite swimmer?
As a general advice, I can say that for a beginner swimmer, it's important to face the challenges, go to the pool, listen to their coach because he's specialized in
This regard, yeah.
training, yeah, in training you actually. So set the goals, try to get the goals and beat them.
Yeah, I think you are right. Having those things in mind, I hope that the audience and the beginner swimmers that are watching this podcast can get the best out of it and to listen to your advices. Yeah, as I mentioned in the introduction, Horatio has a lot of experience in this sport, and the best way to become better and better in swimming or in any other sport is to listen to the experiences of the experienced athletes, in this case Horatio. So we hope that the audience is happy with what we are doing here and the project that we are trying to create with those series of podcasts, um, made especially helping the beginner athletes to become elite ones. We tried to cover all the 8 topics in this big performance project. We covered the supplementation, the recovery strategies. Today it was the example programming podcast. We got the psychological podcast, physical podcast, and of course, one of the most important ones was the nutrition. You can check that podcast on our YouTube channel. I wanted to thank you very much for being here today, Horatio. It was a pleasure to have you here, and thanks a lot for your time.
Vlad, thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. One more time for the ones that wants to find out more information about our project, please check out our channel on YouTube where you can find different podcasts on different topics, but all are made with the idea to help the beginner athletes to become elite ones. Thank you for your attention today and stay tuned for the next episodes that are coming in order to help you and to make you a better athlete. Thank you for today.